play. I'm glad to see Joy here because Joy was on the herd with me last week on Friday when I said I've got a soft buy of Team USA to win the gold. I was a soft buy. Well, now I'm selling. All right, I'm selling. I'm not going to go, it's over. I'm not going that far. It's over. I'm not there. But, look, the one thing Greg Popovich was right about yesterday was when he said it's no longer a surprise when Team USA loses, especially under him. All right, and I've always said that Pop is one of the greatest NBA coaches in history, and he is, but he's also one of the worst international coaches, and he is. Team USA is 11-6 now under Greg Popovich. They're 6-3 under Pop in games that matter. And think about this, guys. In every single one of those games, he has had the most talent, and it's not even debatable. All right, and yet they're 11-6. So now you're starting to hear rumblings. There were reports of rumblings among the players, right, that they don't like what they're running, the San Antonio offense. And Popovich is trying to get more ball movement and more player movement, which I actually agree with. I think that's the best way to play basketball. But here's the problem. Our best players aren't used to playing that way anymore. Kevin Durant, Dame Lillard, Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, whoever, Jason Tatum, they're used to being the focal points of their offense, and they've been used to that since they were probably high school age, teenagers. All right, so now it's hard for them to play five-man basketball and move the ball and move without the ball and go set screens. So you can see that they're not really comfortable out there, while these other teams are very comfortable playing that way. And so, again, I'm not going to write them off completely just because of sheer talent. But, yeah, I'm very concerned. And to be honest, at this point, I might be surprised if they win the gold more so than if they lose it.
So maybe Popovich just isn't the right coach for this type of basketball team. But the issue is, here we are. So you got to figure it out. And Popovich is not the most flexible guy. And over the past few years, we've seen that become more and more evident. That style of basketball would work with this collection of talent, but they need a lot of time together to implement these concepts and that style when, as you mentioned, Chris, that's not how they're used to playing. So something's got to give here, and it's got to give fast, or they're not going to win a medal. So there's a lot of elements here. They haven't all been together. Booker, Middleton, and Holiday just got there. Other than KD and Draymond's, everyone else is their first Olympics, including Popovich.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that have to come together really fast. Popovich isn't flexible. They're not going to have the time to get the continuity to play the type of basketball that he wants this team to play. So, there kind of needs to be a come-together moment to figure out how they're going to do this. Now, they have Wednesday against Iran, so we're assuming they're going to win that game, but Czech Republic is going to be a tough opponent on Saturday, so things are going to happen very quickly. I just think that there's just not enough continuity, despite the talent. I mean, we talked about the Nets all season long, and the biggest concern wasn't that there wasn't talent, it was that they weren't on the court together. So no matter how much talent you have assembled, if you don't actually play together, it is a team game after all, is going to show, especially when you're going up against opponents who've played a lot of basketball together and are also extremely talented. We keep saying it, we need to stop disrespecting these other countries. The world has caught up in a big way, talent-wise, to the USA when it comes to basketball and international competition. It's just a fact. I'm still hopeful. I'm gonna hold on to hope. I'm not completely selling yet, but I do think there's a lot to be concerned about.
Joy, I'm concerned, but I'm also torn. I'm torn because basketball is one of those sports where you can put the best guys on one team and then you can put another group on the other side that's been doing it for a long time together, and the better guys win. So what is the problem here? Like, it's hard for me because I remember Kobe's comments back in 2019, the FIBA tournament, and he said, look, guys, don't be surprised the rest of the world caught up. You hear Greg Popovich after loss after loss after loss continue to say the same thing. Don't be surprised. Be disappointed, but not surprised. But at the end of the day, we have the better players. We have Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can average 40 points if he wanted to. Kevin Wow. It's like, what is the problem here? I don't understand it. You have the greatest players in the world on one team. So whether it's this chemistry continuity thing, talking about the plays and, what Chris is talking about, oh, these guys aren't used to setting screens and, passing the ball. I don't understand what the holdup is here. Greg Popovich needs to humble himself, and Greg Popovich needs to say, guys, just here's the basketball. Go get it done. Like, we see it every offseason in Vegas. We see it, we see it in New York at the Summit when you see the pickup games where you see Kevin Durant playing with James Harden and Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, and you see these classic games, these classic runs. And now all of a sudden we're on the biggest stage and we can't get the same energy? Please. So, look, yes, I'm concerned, but at the end of the day, go ahead. I'm concerned, but at the end of the day, I'm torn because we have the greatest players.
I get it, but like you keep talking about the Chris Brinkley's run there where everyone looks great. J. Cole plays in those runs. Like, I get
exactly what I'm
but that's
talking
not
about.
the level. Yeah, that's not the level. When guys are playing with their shirts off, I'm not like, that's the way we need to play. You played in the. I'm sorry. Good job for you.
Well, celebrity games.
I was like, that's cool. And that's great. Okay, I'll give you 4 names, Broussard: Batum, Fournier, Gobert, and DeColo. They were the 4 starters yesterday. And guess who were the 4 starters in 2019 FIBA World Cup? Fournier, Batum, Gobert, DeColo. They have a consistency in these international squads that we don't. We're out here playing musical chairs with our guys, and I think it ends up showing up. I'll run through it. The 2019 FIBA squad, that was also terrible. Spoiler alert, they were terrible because there was no guys from the 2016 team on the 2019 team. Here it is. Derek White, Donovan, Joe Harris, Marcus Smart, Harrison Barnes, Jaylen Brown, Mason Plumlee, Miles Turner, Brooke Lopez, Kemba, Tatum, and Middleton. The whole team is different. The whole squad is different. So for me, it's less about getting great guys, and I appreciate everybody who is committed, and Joy referenced it earlier. This is not like an awesome Olympics where you're walking around getting pins and like having these great experiences. You're kind of stuck in a little like modified NBA bubble. So I appreciate everybody giving their time, especially like Drew and Booker and Middleton, who flew over there immediately after the finals and Drew balled out. But I would rather have a group of guys that weren't like superstars, that just were like at this level, but like, you know what? We're in. Just like Evan Fournier is not a superstar, but like, I'm in. I'm not missing a game for France. Like we showed the Australian team. Like Dellavedova is like, I'm in. Dova is here. So we don't have that, whether it's injuries, whether it's contract related, whether it's just wear and tear. Like, I would rather have a squad that we just had like, oh, that's our Olympic squad, and we roll with those guys versus trying to make this sort of makeshift all-star team every year and then being shocked that it doesn't work as well as a team that has been consistently playing with each other on the international stage.
Well, one, Wild, you know that wouldn't be as fun. We do want to see some of the stars, right? we don't want to just see a bunch of role players. We do want to see some of the big names. And we've proven if we get the biggest names, they can win. And look, I'm with you a little bit on the continuity and all that, but I think it's overstated. I mean, you just mentioned guys that had played together 4 years ago. For the most part, Evan Fournier's been in Orlando and Boston. Rudy Gobert's been in Utah. Batum's been all over the place. Charlotte, the Clippers, like DeColo's somewhere playing overseas. But my point is, I think it's the way they grew up playing. They grew up playing a certain way so they can understand when they do come together, they can remember how to play that way. Because let's face it, all these places I mentioned that they're at, they've got different roles. You know, it's not like they got together this for the team, France, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, Evan, you're our superstar. They have different roles when they play with their NBA teams, and then they come together and they know how to play.
Listen.
And I got to say this, too. Can I say, and I'm with Brandon, I think, is going to agree with me on this. I'm tired of hearing that the world is caught up. Now, the world, yes, the entire globe has obviously caught up because the best players in the world, many of them are international. Giannis, Embiid, Luka, right? Jokic, we could go on. But no individual country has caught up. France hasn't caught up. Greece hasn't caught up. Slovenia hasn't caught up. We should be waxing these teams. And the style of play is an issue, but I don't know if the typical NBA high pick and roll driving